You're in your 20s. You scroll through social media, seeing peers with dream jobs, exotic trips, perfect relationships. That knot in your chest tightens. Am I falling behind? Here's the truth. They're not ahead. Not really. Society glorifies the visible markers of success while ignoring the invisible work that shapes the future. Titles, apartments, relationships. They're all trophies without foundations. Most people chase symbols while neglecting what actually builds a life worth living. A few years back, I found myself at a childhood friend's wedding surrounded by all my elementary and high school friends. Everyone was boasting. Corner offices, international trips, new families. When it was my turn, I had nothing flashy to report. That year, I'd spent quietly rebuilding my mindset, cutting out toxic influences, and clarifying what I actually wanted from life. Work invisible to the outside world, but invaluable internally. That night, I felt the weight of failure pressing down. I drafted a mental checklist of what I should have achieved by 29 and reviewed goals I set years prior. Every empty box felt like a verdict on my worth. What I didn't realize then was that I was trapped in narrative conformity, measuring my life against someone else's script, rather than building what would truly serve me in the long run. Your 20s aren't an extended adolescence. They're a critical period where your brain, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of planning, self-regulation, and judgment, is still being wired. Every year spent chasing approval is a year lost building internal strength, what I call identity capital, the assets no one can take, the skills that compound over time. Think of it this way. Would you rather spend the decade building a house that looks impressive but crumbles under stress, or a modest structure that could one day hold a fortress? Most choose the first, blind to the cost. Today, I'm going to show you what actually matters. High leverage, invisible work that earns no applause now, but draws envy in your 30s. Your 20s aren't about having it all figured out. They're about testing, failing, learning, and starting over. Those who thrive don't follow a plan perfectly. They embrace uncertainty. This decade is your dress rehearsal. Mistakes are expected. They're the curriculum. The first lesson, unlearn the lie that you must have everything mapped. That mindset frees you to explore, experiment, and evolve without the weight of perfection or comparison. If you're ready to stop chasing markers and start building the makers, if you want your 20s to be a laboratory where your future is forged, then it begins now. Chapter 1. The Self-Discovery Zone. Your 20s are the ultimate testing ground, the time in your life when you get to really explore who you are and what you might become. It's a decade that gives you the freedom to try different paths, experiment with your identity, and figure things out without having to commit to anything permanently. There isn't some single, true self waiting for you to find it. And that's okay. The goal is self-knowledge, to understand yourself on a deeper level. Every job you take, every friendship you form, every hobby you try, it's all a way to learn more about yourself. A mirror reflecting parts of you that you didn't even know were there. And if you change your mind along the way, that's not failure, that's proof that you're growing and evolving. So stop asking yourself the question, what should I do with my life? Because that question is designed to paralyze you. Instead, ask, what can I confront next? Try a pottery class, even if you've never touched clay in your life, and see if it sparks some creativity you didn't know you had. Travel alone, step into situations that feel unfamiliar, and let yourself reinvent small parts of who you are. Maybe switch careers, not because you have to, but because you want to understand what truly energizes you. Every experiment like this gives you information, clues about your strengths, your preferences, what works for you and what doesn't. The people who dare to explore multiple doors, who test different paths, they end up understanding themselves far more deeply than those who stick to a single plan just because it feels safe. Think of it like walking down a dark corridor lined with doors. Some of those doors will lead to rooms where you can thrive and dominate, and others will open into spaces that challenge you or even frustrate you. Some will change the way you see yourself and the world. And here's the thing, opening the wrong door isn't failure. It's a form of intelligence, a way to learn what drains you, what fuels you, and what resonates with your purpose. Over time, patterns start to emerge, and that awareness becomes far more valuable than simply following a path that someone else mapped out for you. But here's the catch. If you really want to accelerate this process of self-discovery in your 20s, you can't just sit around and wait for clarity to magically appear. You have to move. You have to take deliberate, intentional action and trust that every step, even the ones that feel uncertain, will teach you something you couldn't learn any other way. Start with what I call value excavation. Sit down and actually write out your goals, career, lifestyle, ambitions, all of it. And then for each one, ask yourself why you want it. Not once, but 5 times. You'll be surprised how quickly the surface-level answers peel away. For example, I once thought, I should become a lawyer. Sounded impressive. But when I asked why, again and again, I realized what I actually wanted wasn't the job. It was respect and security. And those weren't things that required a law degree to achieve. That exercise taught me something no motivational quote ever could. A lot of our goals are just disguises for deeper desires. The real gold is underneath. Next, practice what I call controlled failure. Put yourself in situations where messing up is expected, like improv, stand-up, or even starting a beginner project where you know you'll stumble. Why? Because when you bomb in these low-stakes arenas, you learn that failure doesn't define you. It's not a verdict on who you are. It's just feedback. And once you internalize that, you'll be far more willing to take risks in the areas of life that actually matter. And finally, do a relationship inventory. Take a hard look at the people around you. Who leaves you feeling energized? Who leaves you feeling drained? Draw a line between the two. And then, this part's tough. Start reinforcing the connections that build you up and create distance from the ones that don't. Sometimes letting go of someone feels uncomfortable, but that discomfort often makes room for new relationships that actually nurture your growth. The goal of this chapter isn't to discover a perfect identity. It's to build intelligence about yourself, to align choices with who you truly are, not who you think you should be. A 20-something who explores 10 paths will know himself far better than one trapped in a single lane. Keep asking, who am I now? And who could I become? Each experiment, each risk, each uncomfortable conversation is a step toward a grounded, aware, and intentional version of yourself. Chapter 2, the currency of connection. Not every relationship deserves equal investment. In your teens, proximity and shared interests were enough. In your 20s, intention must lead. Treat your social life like a portfolio. Some friendships are high maintenance and low return. They drain you. Others require little effort but deliver support and growth. Focus on quality, not quantity. Maintaining 50 connections on LinkedIn isn't a measure of success. Real strength lies in depth. Research shows that strong social bonds are better predictors of happiness and longevity than money or status. The quickest thief of your joy is comparison and obligation to toxic ties. Ask yourself, who celebrates my victories? Who wants me unchanged? Those who push you forward deserve deep roots. Those who drain can be released. Time and energy are finite. Saying yes to everything because of fear of missing out dilutes your strength. Invest in a few profound connections. Friends, mentors, partners who listen, who give honest feedback, who share your values. These are your support structure. The depth of a few true relationships outweighs the breadth of many shallow ones. Invest in energy givers. Prioritize those who uplift, who make you laugh, who make you feel understood. Double down on these connections. Disinvest from energy takers. Distance is necessary. You don't owe your energy to everyone from your past. Focus on mutual growth. Nurture relationships where both parties strive to improve together. These connections multiply in strength. What matters isn't the size of your network, it's the depth of your circle. Outgrowing outdated friendships makes room for those who will sustain you through inevitable challenges. One true ally is worth more than 100 casual contacts. Chapter 3, Financial Foundations. Your 20s may not be defined by a fat bank account, but the habits you form now will shape decades ahead. The real gift of this decade is time. Time to compound, to learn, to build financial literacy. Schools didn't teach this, so the responsibility falls on you. Even small, consistent actions generate enormous results over time. Consider this. Investing $200 a month at 25 with an 8% return grows to roughly $650,000 by 65. Wait until 35 and it's only $295,000. Time is leverage. This isn't a call to deny yourself pleasures. It's about deliberate choice. Ask before every purchase, is this an asset that grows or a liability that drains? Every dollar spent or saved is a vote for the life you want. Knowledge is the real power. Understanding compounding, retirement accounts, and the basics of investing will serve you far more than the money itself. Spend 30 minutes today learning about compound interest, and that small effort could pay dividends for decades to come. Start early, even if the amounts feel insignificant. Tiny contributions add up, so don't wait for the perfect moment. Automate your savings, set it and forget it, so your future self benefits without you having to think twice. Align your spending with your values. Focus on what truly matters to you: experiences, security, creativity, and cut out the rest. Stop spending on things that don't serve your goals or bring real satisfaction. And beware lifestyle inflation. As your salary grows, it's tempting to upgrade everything around you. Resist that urge. Upgrade your savings first and let your future self enjoy the benefit. Think about that hollow feeling after a weekend of mindless spending. True peace doesn't come from discounts or impulse buys. It comes from systems. You could spend hours hunting for a tiny online deal while ignoring just 20 minutes that could teach you about retirement accounts capable of growing into tens of thousands over time. Knowledge compounds faster than money. In your 20s, it's not about earning more. It's about building the mindset that lets you live life on your terms, not just survive paycheck to paycheck. Chapter 4. Investing in your vitality. Your 20s feel invincible, but that's an illusion. Reality doesn't care about youth. It rewards preparation. The choices you make now around sleep, stress, nutrition, and movement will set the baseline for decades to come. Think of your body as a finely tuned machine. It can handle strain now, but neglect ensures breakdown later. Every late night, skipped meal, and missed workout is either a deposit in your future energy or a debt you will eventually pay. Both your body and mind deserve deliberate investment. Sleep, exercise, and nutritious food aren't vanity. They are the fuel for focus, clarity, and resilience. Small, consistent habits compound quietly but powerfully. 5 minutes of daily meditation or journaling might seem trivial today, but over time, it fortifies your mind with clarity and calm. Imperfect consistency wins over rare bursts of effort. A 30-minute walk 5 times a week builds more than one marathon session followed by weeks of inactivity. Protect your mental and emotional energy, because in an always-on world, distractions and comparison are everywhere, waiting to drain you. That's why you need attention hygiene. Cut out the apps that steal your time. Keep only the essentials, and carve out moments of silence in your day, moments that belong only to you. Think of it as building a recovery rhythm. Maybe it's a morning where you let yourself sleep in, a midweek evening with no screens, or even a weekend day spent completely offline. Treat those moments like appointments with your future self, because they are. And don't overcomplicate your life. Minimize daily decisions so you can protect your mental bandwidth. Prepare your meals in advance. Keep your wardrobe simple. Automate your finances. Every choice you remove today saves you strength for the choices that actually matter tomorrow. Move your body every day, even if it's just for 15 to 30 minutes. Over the course of a year, that adds up to hundreds of hours invested in yourself. And don't compromise on sleep. Consistency matters. Sleep is the foundation of everything. Your focus, your memory, your emotional stability, even how your body heals. Stress, you can't avoid it, but you can manage it. Learn to recognize the signs of burnout before they take over. Step back when you need to. Laugh. Connect with people in real life. If you need to, talk to a therapist. Stress will always be part of life, but unmanaged stress, that will destroy you. Remember this, your body and mind are vehicles, and how you treat them determines how far they'll take you. You've seen people in their 30s still living like college kids, yet they can't recover the way they used to. Every late night, every skipped workout, every meal of junk food, it all adds up. The longest living cultures don't obsess over gyms or diets. They move naturally, eat whole foods, and live with purpose. Think back to the first time you needed coffee just to function after a late night. That was your body's warning. It's been warning you ever since. The question is, are you listening? Because the habits you build now, they'll become the default settings for the rest of your life. Chapter 5. Navigating your work path. What do you want to be when you grow up? That question assumes permanence. The old model, a single career for 40 years, is dead. Your 20s are the arena to explore multiple paths. Build a portfolio of skills and discover work aligned with your strengths. Don't chase titles or paychecks. Seek environments that demand growth. Every role, even the difficult ones, teaches something. Problem solving, communication, industry insight, or what not to do next. The biggest mistake is clinging to the wrong path out of fear. That feeling of dread, the reluctance to go to work on Monday, that's a signal. Heed it. Instead of asking, "Is this my dream job?" ask, "What skill can I master here that will pay off later?" 1 year in a small startup may teach more than 5 in a corporate behemoth. A sales role, or really any job, can teach you more than just the title on your business card. It sharpens negotiation, hones people's skills, and builds resilience. Today, a career isn't a straight ladder. It's more like a constellation, a network of experiences that shape your capabilities. Focus on transferable skills like leadership, analysis, writing, communication, because these are the tools that will set you apart. Listen to your instincts. If going to work makes your body tense, that's information. Change is inevitable, and multiple career moves aren't just normal, they're often necessary. Think of your career as a marathon, not a sprint. Most people will change jobs a dozen times or more. Take the time now to figure out what clicks. Too often, we research where to eat tonight more thoroughly than where we'll spend 40+ hours a week. Don't chase superficial prestige. Seek challenges that stretch you, work that carries meaning, even if it looks less glamorous on paper. In your 20s, titles matter far less than clarity. Clarity about what energizes you, what you excel at, and what truly creates value. Build that foundation now, and you'll avoid decades of regret. Chapter 6. Becoming a lifelong student. Formal education might end, but real learning doesn't. In fact, if there's one skill that will carry you through your 20s and beyond, it's not math or writing or even your degree. It's learning how to learn. Because the truth is, knowledge becomes obsolete fast. What sets people apart isn't who knows the most facts, but who stays curious, adaptable, relentless. Learning isn't a diploma checkpoint, it's a lifelong pursuit. That requires a shift in mindset. Stop thinking, I should already know this. Start thinking, I get to learn this. When you face something unfamiliar, confront it with curiosity instead of fear. Pick up a book outside your comfort zone. History, science, philosophy, art. Listen to podcasts. Dive into audiobooks. Explore online courses. Don't chase credentials just to look smart. Focus on mental flexibility, because that's what will keep you sharp when the world changes. And it will. Ask more questions than you answer. Humility will open doors that arrogance keeps locked. Pretending to know blocks growth, but admitting you don't know, that's how you learn. So, cultivate curiosity. Set aside just a little time every day to learn something new. Even if it's only a few minutes, those small pockets compound into something enormous over time. And when you really want to master something, teach it. Explain it to someone else or write it down. Teaching forces clarity. It reveals the gaps in your knowledge, and that's where the growth happens. Adapt quickly. New technologies, new trends, new ways of thinking. Don't wait until you're left behind. Jump in early. Your brain is still pliable, still able to stretch. Use that while you have it, because in the end, it's not about what you know today. It's about how fast you can learn what you need tomorrow. The most successful people never stop being students. They feed their minds continuously. And every time you realize you don't know nearly as much as you thought, don't get discouraged. That's proof you're still learning. Diplomas are milestones, but life is the real exam. Build the habit now, because life won't stop testing you. Chapter 7. Strength and self-reliance. Your 20s are when the shift happens, when you stop depending on others and start becoming someone others can depend on, including yourself. And let's be clear, independence isn't just about paying bills. It's about confidence. It's about knowing that when life throws something at you, you don't need constant guidance to handle it. Every problem you solve on your own strengthens that muscle of self-reliance. Practical independence is the obvious starting point. Learn the life skills that keep you moving. How to cook, how to budget, how to make small repairs, maybe even sew a button. These aren't glamorous, but they pay dividends every single day. There's a kind of quiet power in being able to say, I've got this. Then comes emotional independence. This one's harder, but it's the game changer. It means learning to regulate your emotions without depending on constant validation. It's calming yourself down instead of waiting for someone else to do it. It's making decisions rooted in reason and values instead of approval. The more you practice this, the sharper your judgment becomes. And with time, you'll notice you rely less and less on others for your sense of stability. And of course, there's financial independence. This is where discipline matters. Distinguish between needs and wants. Automate your bills and savings so the basics are always covered before indulgence comes into play. That pride you feel when you know you can stand on your own financially, that's real freedom. Here's the thing, every small victory compounds. Fixing a bike tire on your own, navigating an unfamiliar city solo, solving a problem without calling for help. Each of these moments adds another layer of confidence. Independence isn't isolation, it's choice. It means you decide when to lean on others, not because you have to, but because you want to. And don't worry if it feels messy. In your 20s, you'll bounce between moments where you feel like you could run an entire country, and moments where you're staring at a pan thinking, am I burning this chicken? That's normal. That's part of the process. Because adulthood isn't defined by an age. It's defined by those quiet moments where you prove, even just to yourself, that you can handle it. The earlier you practice independence, the sooner discomfort turns into confidence. And eventually, that confidence turns into freedom. Chapter 8. Stepping beyond comfort. Your 20s won't be defined by how comfortable you are. They'll be defined by how much courage you show. And courage doesn't mean you're fearless. It means you act even when fear is still there. Growth only happens when you step past what's familiar. Think of comfort like a room. If you stay in it forever, nothing changes. But the moment you push yourself into the hallway beyond, where things are unfamiliar, you grow. The first time you face fear, it feels overwhelming. But the more you do it, the more those walls shift. The challenge feels less threatening, and what scared you yesterday becomes your new normal. That's how bravery is built, one uncertain step at a time. Start small. Talk to a stranger. Try a new hobby, even if you're terrible at it. Pitch an idea. Speak up when it matters. These little acts compound into real confidence. Then take it further. Apply for the role that intimidates you. Ask for what you're worth. Travel somewhere alone. Confidence doesn't create courage, it's the other way around. Your 20s are the perfect time to build resilience against uncertainty. Fear will always whisper, stay where it's safe. But familiarity isn't the same as safety. Every time you push through hesitation, you gain more freedom. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Living by choice, not by avoidance. Chapter 9. The Compound Effect. Think of your daily habits like deposits in the bank of your future. Every choice you make, good or bad, is compounding. And compound interest? That's the most powerful force in life. The small, consistent actions that seem trivial in the moment are the ones that add up to extraordinary results over time. Read 20 pages a day. Doesn't sound like much, right? But by the end of the year, that's over 7,000 pages. That's dozens of books, dozens of new ideas shaping the way you think. Walk for 30 minutes a day. That's 180 hours of movement by the end of the year, time that adds years to your life. Write just 500 words a day. That's almost 2 full books in 12 months. None of these are big, flashy wins, but together, they're systems. And systems quietly build exponential growth. But remember, compounding works both ways. Negativity compounds too. Hours lost scrolling on social media, skipped workouts, procrastination. It doesn't just disappear, it accumulates. It eats away at your potential. Your 20s are fertile ground, and whatever seeds you're planting, good or bad, will grow into habits that define your future. So how do you actually build the right habits? Start with habit stacking. Attach a new habit to something you already do. Consistency always beats intensity. Getting 1% better every day will always outperform going all in for a week and burning out. And don't just set it and forget it. Reflect, track, and adjust. Course correct as you go. That's how real growth compounds. Here's the truth. Your 20s accelerate the effect. Every choice you make now, every book you read, every connection you build, every dollar you save, it all ripples forward across decades. To someone else, your success might look like luck, but it's not. It's deliberate, relentless compounding. Your best investment isn't in stocks, gadgets, or the latest side hustle. It's in yourself. In your habits, in the small daily actions that build into the man you're becoming. Start today, start small, but most importantly, start now. Chapter 10, The Long Game. Your 20s aren't the finish line, they're the starting blocks. And the ones who build a life worth remembering aren't the people who win their 20s. They're the ones who play the long game. In a world obsessed with instant results, chasing likes, promotions, or status, choosing to think long-term is a radical act. Your 20s are the decade to construct the foundation, to assemble the framework for a life that doesn't crumble when the noise fades. Quick wins feel good, fleeting applause is tempting, but it's the unseen work, the decisions that don't reward immediately, that carry the real power. Education that expands your mind, relationships that test you, sharpen you, push you beyond comfort, career moves that build capability rather than just padding a resume. At the time, these investments may feel invisible, others will scoff, but over the years they compound quietly, building momentum that can't be bought or faked. The irony is brutal. Those chasing short-term gratification often find themselves in the same place a decade later, while those who played the long game move forward with force, step by step, advantage by advantage. Playing the long game demands more than patience, it demands resilience. You'll need to endure delayed rewards, trust your own judgment when the path looks empty, when others measure success in applause and immediate return. You'll need to confront discomfort, uncertainty, and the silent work that never appears on social media. This isn't just about career or money. Health, relationships, character, every part of life favors those who can see beyond the next headline, beyond the next achievement, to the future they're building. Ask yourself now, are my choices expanding my options or shrinking them? The small, uncomfortable decisions today, saying no, training harder, speaking up, stepping away from the familiar, often yield the freedom, power, and fulfillment that others only dream of. Your future self is waiting. They're watching quietly, silently counting on you to lay the groundwork. Make the moves that your 35-year-old self will thank you for. Make them with purpose, with patience, with unwavering focus. This is the long game. It isn't glamorous, it isn't flashy, but it is unstoppable. Remember, it's your world. Build it.